Last derby of the year for the regular season against NYCFC. After experiencing it once at Citi Field, what is your takeaway on how important this game is in the season?
Yeah, it's very important now. It's now we have only to play 4 games now in the regular season and to get a good result in our ranking, in our table. So it's a very important game. It's a derby, and also then to create a special atmosphere in our stadium, which is very necessary for us. And so it's good to have this game now against New York City, and I don't want to compare now this game to the first game, to the away game in City. So now it's a new situation, so new starting lineups, I would say, on Saturday, and now we have to show that we are in a good spot, that we show our whole quality, our whole energy, which we need for getting 3 points.
Go back to Andy. So I have to ask it again this week. Emil Forsberg, we saw him out in training earlier today. Is he ready to play in this game against NYCFC?
Yeah, he will be ready. So he's in the team training session the last couple of days, I would say 4 or 5 days now in the full team training session. Last week was 70-80% of the team training session. So he will be in our roster, and we will decide on Saturday if he is able to play maybe from the beginning or then later as a sub.
NYCFC has been a team that is they've been struggling of late. They haven't won a game since July 3rd. How are you building your team's confidence going into this game, knowing that they're a team that is at this point lacking in a bit of self-confidence?
Yeah. First of all, we don't talk about the results from the last games about New York City, and also not to talk about our results. We played also sometimes a lot of too many games draw. The only thing is what we have to analyze is their performance, their structure, their defense behavior, their offense behavior, and this is what we prepare, what we prepared the whole week in our training session, also in our video sessions, and then to have the focus on our performance, on our mentality, which we need in our defense behavior, and then also for sure we want to play very dominant, especially in our home game on Saturday in our stadium. And so this is a preparation, and don't think too much about the results in the past. So we are talking about this, what we need for 3 points, and especially then also with our quality.
Next we go to Voss on Zoom.
How's it going, Coach? Thank you for the time, and best of luck this Saturday.
Thank you. It's a good start.
About the importance of not just the derby itself, but delivering the 3 points on the night, especially with the Orlando City and Charlotte FC being away from their own homes, respectively, and it being a big chance to really go up ahead in the standings.
Yeah, we know for sure. We know the schedule. We know now also that we are playing now 4 games in this regular season, and but not to think too much about the schedule from Charlotte, about the schedule from Orlando. So now we have our home game against New York City, and this is our main focus. And for sure, it's now, especially at the end of the season, so you can make with every win, with every 3 points, you can make a big step. So, and this is our main goal, our main target. But first of all, is which is very important and also necessary for us, not to think too much about what can happen after the game. So we have to prepare our solutions at the beginning, when it's kickoff, when we start the game. This is what we have to prepare, and also then to show our quality with the best solutions in all phases.
Next we go to Mark on Zoom.
Hey, Coach. Can you talk a little bit about how Caballo's play is coming along? Obviously, he came off in the second half last week after picking up a yellow card late in the first. How important he'll be to your team's effort on Saturday? Yeah,
with his experience as a very important player, especially with his space behavior in possession, ball possession, but he's also physical in a very, very good spot, so he can also run a lot in distances. So yeah, the trainings week was good, and he adapted very quick. Also our principles, for sure, it needs times then also to come 100% in every situation to find the right moment. Yeah, especially then in our rest defense, how we concede the first goal against Atlanta. This was not the best moment. I think in this case we need a better behavior, especially then in the box. But at the end, a very good player with his experience, especially in ball possession, and this is what we need. And yeah, and hopefully we can see this then 100% on Saturday.
Next we go to Dan on Zoom.
Good afternoon, Sandro. Hope you're well. Just talk about Dante Vanzeri. He finally scored last game. And it must be not just a big relief for him, but a big relief for you. And hopefully...
No, not for me, for us.
But exactly. Do you hope that, he's going to start now putting the ball in the back of net, even though there's only 4 matches remaining in the regular season? And hopefully maybe if you do go to the playoffs, he goes on a run as well.
Yeah, for sure. It's very important then to have these successful moments for the striker individual, and especially then with goals or an assist. And he assists the first goal in Chicago. He assists the first goal in Charlotte. And last week against Atlanta he scored those. This is good for his numbers individual. And yeah, for sure. Then when we see the quality in every training session from him, and this is what we need, and also especially on match day on Saturday. And then the reaction of Elias Manuel was great, especially then after he missed the penalty. It's also not so easy then to come from the bench, to miss the penalty, and then to score in a difficult moment, especially then at the end of the game. So it's good. 2 striker goals last game against Atlanta, and this is what we need, especially then in our last games in the regular season. And then let's finish the regular season, and then we can talk about the playoffs.
Next, we go to Michael on Zoom.
Coach, really appreciate the time. Last week, during training last week, Dylan Nealis talked about how he felt the team took for granted that they were in 4th place. You guys were in 4th place for like a month and a half, 2 months. You got complacent. You guys dropped down. You're back in 4th place. Do you think that the team's mentality around being in the top half of the East has changed just because you guys were down in 5th for a week? Or is it just move on to the next game? We're not worrying about that right now.
I don't want only to talk about the 4th place now in our Eastern Conference. For me, it's more important to see every day the mentality of the whole group, of the whole staff, of the whole coaching staff, and also what we have seen in the last game against Atlanta. So in a difficult moment, you concede the 2nd goal. You were very dominant in the whole game, but at the end, we concede this goal. But we tried every time to push these guys, and also they pushed each other on the field, and and then we scored the 2nd goal, like 2-2 against Atlanta. So the mentality is great, but and we showed this, to be honest, in the whole season, also with some injuries some injured players then to have a great reaction in our games, in our training session, in the mentality every day on the training field. And I don't want to talk too much about the 4th place in the Eastern Conference. For sure, we know the situation, we know the ranking, we know the table, everything. But now is the main part to win this derby. This is our main goal, to win this derby on Saturday.
Next, we go to Christian on Zoom.
Hi, good afternoon, Coach. The best of luck this coming Saturday.
Thank you.
I would like to ask you about 2 players, Cameron Harper and Dennis Jangar. This was the 2nd time that they played. They started together.
Really?
What does that?
When was it the first? When was it the first time?
DC United. I think a couple months ago.
Oh, home game.
Yes, home game. And that was one of my biggest questions is
if they are starting on Saturday. No.
What does 2 vertical players represent to the club? How does that help, I guess, tactically for the team? And is it possible, what's the likelihood of them performing starting again for the next match against NYCFC?
Yeah, depends on Emil Forsberg, to be honest. First of all, when we decide to play in a starting lineup with Emil Forsberg, then could be that maybe then Dennis or Cam is coming from the bench. So, but both players, they have a little bit the similar type of their individual style, how they play. So with a lot of speed, with good speed, with a lot of good transition moments, and with a clear direction to the goal. Yeah, it's good to have these guys in our roster, and for me, both players, Dennis Kienga and Cameron Harper, they played the last game very well. I didn't know that this was the second time. I was sure there was more that they stayed, that they played together in a starting lineup. But when you said this was the second time. Okay, could be that's the third time on Saturday. But at the end, for sure, we will have to look also for Emil Forsberg.
Everyone, we have time for 2 more questions with Coach. First, we'll go to Anthony, and then we'll finish up with Voss. Anthony, you have the floor.
Coach, derbies can be very emotional. In your history, what you've known in Europe and everything, how do you manage emotions for a team heading into a big cross-rival game?
Yeah, first of all, I have to manage my emotions, to be honest. That's important. But the main focus is our topics, our principles. So this is the main focus, and of course now then to have some emotional sentences in our pre-match meeting is clear. But I think too much emotions could be also then very difficult then for our team. So, but I have to handle my emotions, and then I'm sure when I can handle my emotions, then it's also a good step then for the team.
And we'll finish up with Voss on Zoom.
Thank you for the time again, Coach. Just wanted to ask you in terms of the preparation for NYCFC. They are missing Santiago Rodriguez, and do you think that's going to offer maybe a different look than that they've been showing with him being out, and maybe someone like Julian Fernandez getting more time? Like, what does he offer maybe, or some of the other players offer that he might be preparing?
Yeah, for sure. Rodriguez is a very good player, and he had also in this season good numbers in scoring and assists. But at the end, they have also very good players and also a very good roster. And good team, good coach, clear principles, clear structure whole of the season. Sometimes it's 4-2-3-1, sometimes it's 4-3-3 in possession, 4-4-2 in their pressing behavior. So this is what we have to prepare. This is our job, and to find our solutions, and not to think about too much about, okay, what can happen now without Rodriguez or something like that.
Coach, thank you for joining us. We appreciate your time.
Thank you, guys. See you.